안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Culture Wave. I'm Kwon-soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-festivals, K-hiking, K-everything. And we'll do all of that together with our co-host Walter Lee in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello to everyone at home who's watching. I'm Walter Lee, and I'm always here to have the latest in K-enter news just for you.
Walter, it seems like this week we've got huge K-entertainment news on a daily basis.
Yes.
I mean, yesterday we talked about that remarkable achievement of a Korean-made musical, maybe happy ending at the Tony Awards. And today we're going to talk about another ending, but it's the ending of a military service for two members of a mega boy group.
Well, that's definitely the headline for K-enter today.
All right, so let's just kick off with that news, with that headline. So we're talking about two members of BTS. They are out of the army to return to the army, their fans.
Exactly. I mean, this is the moment many people have been waiting for. RM and V of BTS have officially been discharged from their mandatory military service on Tuesday, making them the third and fourth members to finish their duties. Now, on their first public appearance since their discharge, RM appeared in front of fans wearing sunglasses, and at one point he played the saxophone, while V held large bouquets of flowers in both hands and smiled to the crowd, as you can see. So both members enlisted on December 11th of 2023. Feels not that long ago. One day before, fellow members Jungkook and Jimin, that's a little bit of a hint as well. RM was appointed to the 15th Division Military Band, while V was assigned to Sangyeong Special Task Force. Here is what the two members had to say being discharged. Let's start with RM, followed by V.
네, 안녕하십니까. 오늘 전역한 15사단 본부근무대 군악대 소속 병장 김담주입니다. 반갑습니다. 네, 드디어 전역을 했는데 솔직히 저희가 지금 가장 짧은 또 군복무를 하고 있잖아요, 역대.
그렇습니다.
그래서 가장 짧은 군복무 하고 또 여건도 많이 좋아졌고, 근데 이제 뒤늦은 나이에 가서 솔직히 괴롭고 힘든 일도 많았지만 이제 저희가 활동할 동안에 많은 분들이 저희 대신 나라를 지켜주시고 있다는 걸 많이 느꼈던 것 같아요. 아미분들께 너무 기다려주셔서 감사하다고 말씀드리고 싶고요. 다시 와서 사회 BTS RM으로서 멋있게 뛰어보도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하십니까. 2군단 직할부대 쌍용 특임대 병장 김태형 전역을 명받았습니다. 충성! 일단은 저는 군대 오고 난 후 몸과 마음을 다시 한번 생각하고 잡는 그런 시기였다고 생각합니다. 그리고 저는 지금 제 몸과 마음을 다시 만들었고 하루빨리 아미들에게 달려가고 싶습니다. 이렇게 군대를 기다려주신 아미 여러분들한테 정말 감사하다고, 정말 진심으로 정말 감사하다고 얘기를 드리고 싶고, 일단은 조금만 더 기다려주시면은 저희가 정말 멋있는 무대로 다시 돌아오겠습니다.
It is great to see them back. And Walter, you did give a hint before that these two members actually enlisted into the military a day before other members, Jungkook and Jimin. That means probably they're going to be discharged tomorrow on Wednesday, Korea time. And also, Arirang is going to live stream that on our YouTube channel as well. So that's also a hint for all the armies out there. But now let's move over to another big anniversary by a super boy group, I will have to say.
Yes, this is the boy group I wish I joined if I was in Korea a little bit earlier, because it's around my age. So, second generation boy group Super Junior is making a comeback with a special album to celebrate their 20th anniversary. Their 12th full album, Super Junior 25, is set to be released on July 8th and is a creative nod to their debut album, Super Junior 05, from the debut album 2005. So this marks the group's first album release in about 2 years and 8 months, following their 11th album, Volume 2, The Road Celebration. Now, in December of 2022, that was released. Now, to mark their 20th anniversary, Super Junior is rolling out massive celebratory projects that include exhibitions, TV appearances, a new album, a pop-up store, and of course, you'll see a concert tour as well.
Wow, well, we just talked about the 10th anniversary recently. Now we have Super Junior's 20th anniversary. Maybe soon we will have a 30th anniversary of a first generation group.
Probably.
Well, but now, Walter, let's talk a little bit about a girl group.
Yes, of course. So girl group Kiss of Life held a showcase on Monday in Seoul to mark their release of their 4th mini album called 224, following the success of their vibrant 2023 track, Sticky. Now, the group is making a summer comeback with Lips, Hips and Kiss. It's an R&B and hip-hop song infused with the early 2000s flair. A lot of people are looking to the 2000s for sort of inspiration these days. So the album title 224 represents today, tomorrow and forever. So reflecting a theme of time and continuity. So through this album, Kiss of Life explores the narrative of self-discovery, charting a journey from repression to freedom. Now, after completing their first world tour across Asia, North America and Europe, Kiss of Life will return to the stage for encore performances in Changchun Arena in Seoul on July 19th and July 20th.
It's great to see girl groups in the spotlight, boy groups in the spotlight, as well as legendary groups in the spotlight.
Indeed.
And Walter, that was your spotlight for
Yes.
K-Enter today. Please stick around. We're going to now move over to our AI anchor, Ari, to take a look at what she has for us today. Take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. President Lee Jae-myung congratulated the Korean original musical Maybe Happy Ending on winning Best Musical, the top honor at the Tony Awards, vowing stronger support for the arts and culture sector, calling the historic win the result of the long-standing dedication, passion, and creative challenges of Korean artists. President Lee pledged to help artists pursue their dreams on the global stage. Culture Minister Yoo In-chun also sent a congratulatory message, calling it an achievement that captures universal human emotions while highlighting the artistic excellence of Korean musicals. Maybe Happy Ending became the most awarded production at this year's Tony Awards, sweeping 6 categories, including Best Musical, Best Book, Best Direction, and Best Original Score. An exhibition spotlighting the lesser-known artistry of the early Joseon period is now on view at the National Museum of Korea, marking the 20th anniversary of the museum's relocation to Yongsan. A special exhibition titled Art of Early Joseon, Masterpieces from the 15th and 16th Century, opened today. The show brings together over 690 representative works, including 16 national treasures from the first 2 centuries of the Joseon dynasty, spanning from ceramics, calligraphy, and painting to Buddhist art. The exhibition also features 40 artifacts from 5 countries, including the United States and Germany, with half of them being shown to the Korean public for the first time. The exhibition runs through the end of August and is free of charge until this Sunday. Daejeon City has rolled out a new extended stay tourism campaign ahead of the summer vacation season. It launched 5 themed travel packages this month, featuring a range of discounts and immersive tour experiences. The campaign offers discounts on accommodation throughout the city, along with half-price tickets to popular attractions such as O World and the Daejeon Expo Aquarium. Visitors can also enjoy activities like hot air balloon rides and nighttime waterboat tours, while sampling the city's distinctive local cuisine. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
And here's another culture event we'd like to introduce. Korean temple food was officially listed as a national intangible heritage last month, and the Korean Temple Food Festival took place this past weekend to celebrate that designation. The festival, in fact, returned after a decade, hopeful of a future UNESCO listing. Our Park Jun-han was there.
from traditional steamed tofu to yuzu-flavored sweet rice and shiitake mushroom stew. These foods are not just tasty vegetarian dishes, they also embody core Buddhist values. Temple food, known for creating mental and physical energy during training, respects life and avoids the use of the 5 pungent vegetables, namely onions, garlic, chives, green onions, and leeks, which are believed to hinder spiritual clarity and inner peace. I'm currently at the Korean Temple Food Festival. Come along as I dive into unique flavors and the timeless value of the temple food. People from assorted backgrounds and a variety of countries gather here in Seoul to celebrate and experience the excellence of temple food. They sampled dishes and even tried making some themselves. Some 20,000 people took part in the event, over 2 days from Saturday to Sunday, with the majority of attendees in their 20s and 30s. With its health-forward approach and mild flavors, temple food has become a popular alternative for those avoiding strong flavors.
There's a recent trend like the slow aging diet and low sodium diet. People these days want to live a healthy life, so I think these are the parts of what makes temple food so appealing.
Of course, temple food is not just healthy, it is tasty and flavorful.
Well, I was actually surprised because I've never tried temple food before. So I thought it would be like very bland, but it actually was very flavorful.
Now that Korean temple food gained recognition as a national intangible cultural heritage in May, efforts are underway to expand its reach globally.
Korean temple food, now recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage, is ready to inspire people around the world with its universal appeal, transcending religious boundaries, which is why we are actively promoting it overseas.
Aiming for UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage recognition, the Jogye Order of Korean Buddhism is strengthening its global presence through cultural exchanges, temple stay programs, and academic initiatives, while championing core Buddhist values. Park Jun-han, Arirang News.
One of Koreans' favorite leisure activities is hiking. Now, it's also a popular activity among foreign tourists in Korea. Figures, in fact, show in the years 2023 to 2024, almost half of the people that visited this whole hiking tourism center were foreigners. What's so appealing about hiking in Korea? Let's find out more with David Tizard, Professor of Korean Studies at Seoul Women's University and Hanyang University, who is now connected with us. Hello, Professor Tizard.
Hello, Professor.
Good afternoon. Wonderful to see you both.
Wonderful to see you, Professor Tizard. So, Professor Tizard, are you a hiker yourself? I mean, which mountains have you hiked up around Seoul or elsewhere in Korea?
I am a hiker, yes. I love it. I love getting outside. I love running. I love playing football, and hiking is just another extension of that. It's a chance to get away from the desk. It's a chance to forget about the modern infrastructure that South Korea proudly boasts, and instead get back to nature, see the trees, because South Korea's scenery here, it's just incredible. It's wonderful. You see the mountains, you see the way they sort of fade into each other, creating this sense of infinity, like when you get two mirrors placed opposite each other, it seems to go on and on forever, and then you sort of see clouds wrapped around them, almost like a snake giving them an invisible hug. So yes, I have here in Seoul, I do Tobeong-sang quite a lot. That's in my neighborhood, but I spend a lot of my time out in Gangwon-do. I believe you're showing pictures now of Daesung Pukpo. That's something that I've gone up to many times. There's some pictures of me. Daesung Pukpo, I'll just say something about this because it illustrates Korea's relationship with hiking. There was a young man called Daesung, and he lost his parents at a young age. He was climbing down a cliff with a rope tied to his waist. He was picking mushrooms, and suddenly he heard his dead mother's full voice calling out to him, Daesung-ah, Daesung-ah. Shocked by this, he climbed back up to the top, scaling the rope, and when he got there, he found a bird picking at the rope that, had it continued, he would have likely fallen to his death. And so his mother's voice saved him, and that's why it's called Daesung Pukpo. And when you go up there, you can apparently at times, although I've yet to really hear it myself, apparently you can still hear the voice calling out Daesung-ah as a way of reaffirming Korea's not only love for mountains and getting out, but also that Confucian value of filial piety.
Oh, nice. Have you tried that mountain before, Walter?
I have not, but now it seems like it's on my to-do list just so I can hear that ghostly voice.
Well, Professor Tizard, roughly 8 out of 10 Koreans aged between 19 and 79 said they went on a hiking trip to a mountain or forest at least once a month in 2022. So how has Korea developed such a strong hiking culture?
Those statistics, by the way, are completely believable because Koreans love hiking, and there's various different types of hiking. For those that are not in Korea or haven't seen it, sometimes hikes can be quite leisurely and you walk up sort of alongside city walls and it might take an hour or so to get to the top, and it's all rather leisurely and you can do it. Others are far more strenuous and you're advised to take sort of poles and special boots and such forth. But 70% of this peninsula is mountains. So the fact that Koreans hike it makes complete sense because they're not really going to be doing things like a sort of desert boarding or something, but purely because there's no deserts here. So that makes sense. But there's a couple of things really about hiking. One I'll say is this: it's completely communal. So sometimes you walk through the middle of Seoul and you're surrounded by 10 million people and it's hard to get a hello from somebody. It's hard to acknowledge the people around you. But when you go hiking, you really feel a sense of camaraderie. You do it with friends, you do it in communities. My father-in-law, who's well into his 70s now, he still hikes regularly and he does so with his high school friends, and it's a way that they get together and do things. They get together and do things that are free. We live in a capitalist world now where sort of everything costs money, even sort of being alive or reading books. Everybody's asking you for money left, right and center. One of the wonderful things about hiking, another reason it's so popular, is you get together with your friends, but there's a very egalitarian process at play where, you know, there's no real entry fees. You don't have to pay to go up to mountains. You don't really need all the designer gear. So you can get there. And a final point I'll mention that's really important is that with democratization, different mountains have actually opened up. So during the 1980s, for example, Bukhansan has trails behind the Blue House, and the government and the secret forces and the special agents, they didn't let you get anywhere near the Blue House when there were sort of different types of presidents, more military dictators in charge. Now with democratization, those trails have opened up, and so that's also changed. Korea's democratization has changed the nature of hiking in the country. So there's not just one reason, there's many reasons that Koreans take to the mountains in the numbers that they do.
There sure are. And I'm also glad that you mentioned that this is all for free in most cases, because we might take that for granted, because in some countries you actually do have to pay to enter any mountains and to go to those trekking paths.
Yeah, that's very correct and very well put there, Professor. And recently we were also seeing a rise in foreigners or foreign tourists as well, enjoying, you know, hiking here in Korea. Why is that, do you think?
Because it's amazing and it makes sense, and it's something that I encourage my many international students to do, to go hiking. It's a very good question though, Walter, and there are some reasons for that. Hiking in Korea is something that feels Korean. It's not something designed for international consumption. It's not like sort of going to Gangnam or standing outside the big entertainment companies' buildings. It's not Myeongdong. It's not things that are specifically tailored for the international community, but it feels like you're getting a real sense of Korea, and more visitors are looking for that authentic experience in Korea. So there's the second one. There's the first one. The second one is that I've already mentioned this, but when you go hiking, people talk to you. They say hello to you. They might offer you sort of a use of their electronic fan for a minute. If it's hot, they might give you an orange. And so this is a chance for foreigners to interact with Korean people. Many of my international students say they find it quite difficult sometimes to communicate with people here. And it's not just language, it's the speed of life in Seoul and many other facets. So when they're on the mountains, they feel a sense of closeness to Korean people. There's that shared sense of purpose. There's that sense of community, that kind of old feeling of togetherness that we used to have. That still exists there. The third reason is probably that the photographs are amazing. And for young people that want to look good on their Insta or various other social media platforms, you go up the mountains and you are going to get some fantastic photos. So I personally think it's great that more and more visitors to Korea are discovering the mountains and the hiking, because they're getting a true sense of what Korea is, and they're seeing it through Korean eyes rather than ones designed purely for export.
The pictures we saw from you, Professor Tizard, were amazing as well.
Yes, indeed. And because we do have this huge hiking population here in Korea, what's really great is that we also have infrastructure to go along with it and facilities as well that also stand out. So, for example, we have the air dust blowers that, take all the, maybe you got bugs on you or dust or what may, or the certain entrances to trekking paths as well. And even some mountains have like hiking gear provided in some areas as well. Is that something unique you think that we have in Korea, or is that something maybe you've seen somewhere else as well?
Yeah, it's really good. And when I hiked right to the top of Halasan on Jeju, from the mountain at the bottom, I rented the poles and boots and then returned them. So the infrastructure was there to give the people the equipment they required to get up there. I can't speak with too much knowledge about hiking in different parts of the world. I mean, I've been here for 20 years and I've done most of my hiking here. I did grow up skiing in the Alps, but that's a different kind of mountaineering. What I will say about it is, though, that in South Korea, infrastructure is so readily provided and maintained and kept in great condition no matter where you are. When you go to the parks and when you go down by the lakes and things like that, you'll find all of this exercise gear, you'll find all of this equipment that old people get out and they use on the regular, and it's not covered in graffiti, it's not run down, it's well maintained. And the mountains are exactly like that. They're used, they're maintained, and they're designed in such a way that people can use them safely. They can use them in a way that they're designed for the people. One of the big things we have is, who's running the country, who's it being run for, and such forth. When you go to these mountains, you kind of lose a sense of capitalism and profit and all of this kind of selfishness. You see that things are being provided for the people to access the mountains, to access the land. You really get a sense that, this is Korea and it belongs to the people. Not only are you free to use it, but we'll make its use as easy as possible for you. So you're right. There are all these dust blowers. There's these equipment to use. There's first aid. The trails are well maintained with safety advisories everywhere. How it compares to other countries, I'm not sure, but Korean people are incredibly lucky. And I would say that it probably adds something to why Korea has a very, aging society. It's because people go out and they hike and they stay healthy and fit. There's something to that, I think.
And also, what would climbing up a mountain in Korea be without having some makgeolli and ton afterwards?
Exactly right. I know that, to be honest with you, my friends, we look for the makjib or the Dungsang makjib, which is like their recommended restaurants at the bottom or at the foot of the mountain. Before we even look at for the mountain itself, it's an integral part of Korea. Obviously, food is an integral part of Korea when we hike at any mountain.
And for me, it has to be the 감자전 or
Yes.
the potato pancakes.
Yes.
But Professor Tizard, please tell us about this culture of enjoying a good hike with good K-food.
해물전 for me. I like the seafood one, although I'm not going to knock the potato things. I've always liked sort of not searching the Dungsang 맛집, the recommended restaurants, because I like the novelty of it. When you get down, when you finish hiking, and it's generally going to take you somewhere between 2 and 6 hours. Really long ones, Halasan, will take you the whole day. But hiking will take a few hours, and you're generally going to get quite a sweat up. You're going to be well worn out, and you're going to be in need of some food, some refreshment, and you're going to be with friends. And so at the bottom of these mountains, there's all of these wonderful restaurants. A couple of dishes that you haven't mentioned, really good at this time of year, I think, is like the naengmul, the water, the ice noodles. And you get the mulnaengmyeon, you get the bibinnaengmyeon, you get these guksus, and they go down so well with makgeolli. If you walk through Seoul at a nighttime, you'll see lots and lots of people drinking soju with their barbecue. They might be drinking beer or wine in the bars. But if you get down to the bottom of hiking, generally the popular drink, and I'm kind of happy to be able to talk about booze on afternoon television here. The one is makgeolli, which is drunk out of those sort of gold cups that are bowls, I should say, rather wide. And it's really part of the hiking experience. And you see the smiles on people's faces when they leave those restaurants. Obviously, they've had a glass or two, so they're happy, but it's really part of the experience, that togetherness and breaking bread with each other, or at least splitting the genip leaves with each other.
You'll be seeing our smiles right now here, listening to all of that food and makgeolli experience. But finally, Professor Tizard, very briefly, what mountain would you recommend to any foreign tourist for that really fulfilling K-hiking experience?
What a wonderful question that is. All of them. Don't leave until you've done them all. But in all seriousness, of course, there are many that you can do in Seoul, and they're all wonderful. But perhaps two of my favorites, and you saw photos of them earlier in the show, I think. One is Soroksan, which is out in Gangwon-do, and you go up there, and it's an effort, but it's a really beautiful thing. And the other one would be Hallasan on Jeju Island. That's the tallest mountain in South Korea. And the reason I recommend these, not only are they two of the most famous mountains in Korea, the latter one, Hallasan, features in the national anthem and a lot of the proverbs, is that part of hiking is the experience of going there. It's the experience of getting out and getting into bigger parts of Korea and realizing that while you have mountains in Seoul, you have mountains all over this country. And there you get to meet the local people. You get to eat the local variations of the jeon and of the naengmyeon, and perhaps even regional makgeolli as well. So try every mountain, find the one that's right for you. But my recommendations would be Soroksan and Hallasan.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Tizard, for your insights and recommendations today. I think the weather these days is just perfect to go out for a hike. So we'll try to do that too in the near future. And thank you very much again, Professor Tizard.
Thank you, Professor.
So I'll be checking for your injung shots on Insta very soon. Make sure you do it. I'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Walter, as always. So we're going to see you back here in the studio tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Korea time and maybe one day here in Korea.